So on our blocks, we'll start sitting. Just check you can still hear me. Wave. Yep. Yeah, lovely. Now I'm going to take a couple of minutes to just settle in. Let the hips open out, get the pelvis in a nice neutral position, so a little wriggling around. Settling the breath. And we'll open the eyes, just bring the fingertips onto the collarbones. Bring the elbows together. Just taking some angel wings, just roaring them up, on the back. Squeeze the shoulder blades together, bring the elbows into the ribs, and then across the chest. Bringing the breath a little bit more into the collarbones, expanding the ribs out. Taking it a couple of times in the opposite direction. And then floating the arms out nice and wide. Bring that left arm across. The surface stretch. And then release. We'll take it to the opposite side. And release from there. Now we're going to take the cells down to the floor. I'm going to use the block behind the back of the head. And ease ourselves down, so just making sure the block is under the head, not pressing into the neck or the shoulders. Bring the knees in, hands on top of the kneecaps, and just make some circles with the knees in the air. So just rolling them around. We're getting a little bit of movement through the pelvis as we do this. Just moving forwards and backwards very gently. So it's loosening up the lower back for us as well as the hips. And we'll take that again in the opposite direction a couple of times. and then bring the feet down to the floor. So take the left foot towards the sky, take the hands around the back of the thigh, and extend the leg up towards the ceiling. So you're trying to press the foot away. You don't necessarily get into a completely straight leg, as the hamstrings and the back of the calf might be a bit tight. And to work the leg a little more, you really want to flex that foot down towards the body and spread the toes. We'll lengthen out the opposite leg. So right leg lengthens out. We'll turn the internally rotation a little bit on. And again, press out through that heel. The foot is flexed and we spread the toes. Now we're going to take a little breath. Draw the chin in towards the chest. Allow yourself to release the hands and take your right hand up to sort of the outside edge of your calf of your leg. And then take, as you rest your head back, your leg over towards the right side a little bit. So the foot will come in closer towards the body. You're actually just drawing the leg across the torso and trying to keep the hips on the ground. Still try to press out through that heel. Now, depending on how long your arms are, you're either going to be very close to your ankle or a little bit close to the knee. And it does help if you keep the left hand out a bit to the side to stabilize. And then we're going to release the leg back and bring both feet back to the floor close to the bottom. So it's just the same pose. It's called Supta Padangusthasana. There's an A, a B, and a C. So the B actually goes out wide, the C goes across. I think it's incidental that the C and the cross happen to be start with the same letter there. I'm going to take the right leg up. Get the idea of that being stretched out.
Word salad. He's doing some word salad.
And then lengthen that left leg out, press out through the heel. Getting that little bit of internal rotation, spreading the toes, flexing the feet. And again, we draw the chin in towards the chest. Take the left hand out to the right side. Draw the knee a little closer, or the leg a little closer, and across. You can do this with a strap around the foot. It's actually easier to do, but I sent you an email over the weekend saying, remember to bring some string with you. It wouldn't have worked very well this morning, so you can use the hands. Last little breath. And I'll release that leg back up. Draw both knees in. Give ourselves a little wriggle from side to side. Take the hands out nice and wide. Palms facing up. Bring the feet in close to your bottom so they touch. We'll take the legs over towards the right side, head to the left, shoulders on the ground. And we'll lift the legs back up. Cross over to the opposite side. Draw the right hand across the chest. Press the hands into the floor to allow ourselves to sit up. So let's move the block out of the way. Swing the feet round to the back of the mat. Up onto all fours for cat-cow. And just drawing the chest forwards. And then tilting the pelvis. Then unwrap the spine around out.
I'm not deliberately, I'm sorry.
Tummy infection.
No, it's lovely.
And then we'll come into child's pose. So we'll take the knees nice and wide. Sitting down gently. And taking the hands forwards. Stretching out. Getting those underarm muscles to stretch out nicely. Walk the fingers out a little bit further. Just tease them towards the front of the mat. And then walking the hands over to your right. And over to the left. And come back to the center. Lift the body up about halfway and take your left hand underneath and out to the right side. Let the shoulder down and then walk out that right hand a bit further, so twisting in. Walking the fingers back a little bit to lift up halfway. Taking the right hand across, up to the left. And breathing forward back. Lift up onto all fours. Just bring the knees back underneath a little bit. Just a couple of cat or cows. Almost able to say that. Into neutral spine. Roll the shoulders back a little bit as you tuck the toes underneath, and we'll lift ourselves back into our down dog. Let's walking the legs out a little bit. See how that feels. And we'll take that into a scissor. So we'll take the right leg high. Walking the toes. Let the hips open a little bit. Squeeze into the butt. Hinge the hips, the foot to the floor. And we'll take it to the opposite side. Keeping both arms strong, shoulders square as you can to the floor. So as the hips are open, not the shoulders collapsing. And bring that foot down as well. We're walking the toes towards the front of the mat. So keeping the feet a hip distance apart. There's small steps, straight legs. Walking in as far as we can until we get to the point where the back says that's enough, and then you waddle to the front of the mat, bring the hands onto the hips, take a little breath, flat back, inhale high, bring hands into the heart, we'll zigzag the toes in to touch, little gap for the heels, soften the knees, sit back into chair pose, keep the spine long, belly in. Take the hands out wide, palms facing in. Just waking those legs up nicely. And draw the shoulder blades back a little bit. Drive through the legs to lift. Bring the hands in towards your heart. I'm going to turn sideways to my left, whichever is the best way for you to see. Pull my trousers up. They seem to be sliding down this morning. Coming into a nice star shape. Take a little breath. We'll turn the toes towards the front of the mat and sink into warrior two. We turn the palm on the front hand, and then into reverse warrior. Come back into warrior two. Bring the hands in towards the heart as you straighten the front leg. Turn the toes to the side and then to the back of the mat. Take the hands out wide. Come into warrior two facing the opposite direction. Turn the palm on your front hand now up towards the sky to reverse. Come back into your warrior two. Hands into the heart, straightening the front leg. We turn the toes side on. As the hands come out, we turn the feet to the front of the mat. Sink down. We're going to extend over the front thigh. Keep the knee over the ankle. Take the top arm up towards the sky. Come into extended side angle. So palm faces forward. Inhale back up to warrior two. Turn your palm on the front hand. Reverse your warrior. Come back into your warrior two. Hands into the heart. And we're just repeating that a few times. So side on. Hands out. Feet to the back. Warrior two. Take a little breath. Extend forwards over that front thigh. Extend the arm out and over to the end of the mat. Inhale. Turn the palm. Reverse your warrior. Coming back. Hands to the heart. Straightening the legs. Hands out. Sink into that front knee. Take a little breath. Extend out. Open up into that extended side angle. Turn the chest side on. Come back into warrior two. Turn the palm. Reverse warrior. Warrior two. Hands into the heart. Straightening the leg. Turning the toes. Extending out. Warrior two. Float forwards. And take the hand up. Back into that reverse warrior. Just following your breath. Straightening the legs. Last time to the rear of the mat. As you come to the side of the mat this time, turn the toes in a little bit, bring the hands onto the hips. And slowly bring the hips over the thighs so you come forwards and along, flat back. And we're going to let ourselves drop down further, bring the hands to the floor underneath, and ease ourselves down to the ground. Use the breath to come back up onto the fingertips, which creaked a little bit. Walk hands around to the front of the mat. Take a little breath from the lunge. Step into the front of the mat. Feet are hip distance apart, soft knees, flat back to lift up. Inhale high. Hands through the heart, forward fold. So extend out and over. Soften the knees as you need to. Hands to the floor. Come up onto the fingertips. Draw the chest forwards, let the legs open out a little more. Soften down. We take the right foot into plank, left foot into plank. Take a little breath, come forwards into half plank. Turn the boot laces down for up dog. And roll over the toes into down dog. Draw the right knee into your chest. Bring the foot through between the hands. Up onto the fingertips. We sink the hips low and press out through the back. Push off the toes into the forward fold. Hands onto the hips. Soft knees and flat back. Inhale high. Come through and down to the floor. Fingertips to lift up. Forward down. Left foot back. Right foot back into plank. Come into the half plank. Boot laces change. Up dog, strong legs. Tailbone back as you do that into your down dog. And draw your left knee in. Bring the foot through. Take a little breath. Step it into the front of the mat. Hands under the hips. Lift. Inhale high. Exhale down to the floor. Fingertips to lift. Fold down. Right foot back, drop the heel in for warrior two. Bring hands alongside the thighs, lift the chest, draw the hands back. Cartwheel open. Inhale the hands high. Now we're going to take the body forward, so we're going to turn the chest and the hips. Take the arms out wide. Take a little breath. The back heel is still on the floor, same position. We're going to lean the body forwards, and as we do, we're going to take the right hand down towards the floor into that side twist. Bring both hands down, framing the front foot. Spin the back heel. Step it into plank. Half plank. Up dog. To down dog. And we'll draw the left knee in. Bring the foot through. Press off the toes. Hands onto the hips. We lift up. Inhale high. Hands through the heart. Exhale low. Fingertips to lift. Fold it in. Right foot back. Sorry, left foot back. Drop the heel in. Bring the hands alongside the body to lift. Open up into your warrior two. Inhale the arms above your head. Rotate the body as we did before. Take a moment to let the hips come round. Keeping that back foot planted. Arms out to the side. Lean it forwards as you draw the belly in. Exhale. Rotate down to the floor. Gentle twist. Although, strangely enough, coming from high down seems a lot stronger than from the floor up. It's quite big in that back hip joint, keeping the foot nicely planted. And drop hand down to the floor. Step it back into the plank. Plank. So up dog. Lengthen the spine away. As your up dog takes place. Down dog. We'll draw that left leg in. Bring the foot through. Frame the front foot. Press out through the back toes. Front of the mat. Hands on the hips. We lift. Hands high. Exhale through. Fingertips again. Fold down. Right foot back. Plant the right hand on the floor. We take the left hand up into the twist, just drawing the hand towards the sky and then towards the back hip. Bringing the hand down to the floor. Place that hand on the ground. Lift up onto the fingertips for a breath. Then place the left hand to the floor. Take the right hand forwards and up into the twist. And take the hand towards the hip. And down to the floor. Dropping the back heel down onto the ground. Hands alongside the hips. Lift up. Open up into our warrior two. Hands above the head. Rotate all the way down to the body. So long, lengthen out. And then bring the hands down. Spin the back foot up to the sky as you step into the plank. Half plank. Dog. Down dog. And right knee into the chest, bring the foot through. Lift on the fingertips. Press off the toes as you step in. Hands onto the hips to lift up. Inhale high. Through the heart and down to the floor. Fingertips to lift. Easing down. Taking the left foot back. Making sure the left hand is on the ground. We take the right up, twist in. Hand comes towards the hip. Down to the floor. We lift up on the fingertips. Make sure the right hand's connected to the ground. Left hand lifts up. Side twist. A little bit trickier this side. Arm and leg working together with each other. Hand towards the hips. Down to the floor. Step back. No, we don't. Drop the back heel down. Warrior two. Nearly forgot. And lift up.
I think I'm doing the same as before.
Yeah.
And float the arms high. Lengthen forwards. Keep the front knee over the ankle. Hands to the floor. Step it into the plank. Half plank. Up dog. Down dog. And bring that left knee in, foot through to the front of the mat. Take a little breath. Step it forward. Hands under the hips, and we lift. Inhale high. Bring the hands through the heart. Hands down to the ground. Let's roll the shoulders back a couple of times. I'm going to take a little step back and then off to my side, just because we're going to take eagle pose. It's a balancing pose, and I like to be on the floor. So little check around your area if you're doing the same. Make sure you're not going to stumble on anything if you need to put your foot out quickly. I'm going to turn a little bit to the side as well, because I just realized I'm going to poke my hand through the window. So bring the hands in towards the heart. Soften the knees over the toes as we've done before, and we sit back into our chair. And take a little breath from here. Allow the hands to come out wide. I'm going to take the weight into my right foot. Left leg comes up, wraps over, and then fold the foot to the back of the calf as close as you can get. I'm going to take the left hand across the chest, right hand across, bend at the elbows, bring palms together. Sit a little deeper if that's possible. I'm wobbling around a lot today. I think we'll change this to stumbling eagle pose. Last little breath. Let the arms back out. Untangle the legs. And shake out everything. So it's quite strong on the supporting leg. Bring the toes back together again. Little gap for the heels. Hands in towards the heart. Soften the knees down. Draw the abdominal muscles in. Take the arms out wide. Take the weight into the left foot. Lift the right leg. Cross it over, wrap around. Again, as best you can to get the foot around the back of the calf. And then we're going to bring the right hand across. Left arm over the top. Bend the elbows, bring the palms together, or find the thumb. And we'll release out. Untangle the legs. Whew. Straight those legs out again. Come back onto the mat. I'm going to move the block onto the mat again. Ready for me at the back of the mat. Come up to the front. Take a breath in. Hands come high. Through the heart. Exhale low. Step it back to down dog. And in this down dog, I'm going to try and position that block so that I can press my heels into the block. And once I've done that, I'm going to try and, I still have the ball of the foot on the ground, but just lift the toes away from the floor. Watch the muscles in the thighs contract and lift up. A little bit stronger in the back of the calf, still pressing the hips up and back, belly drawn in. Just a few more breaths, keeping those toes lifted. It starts okay, but very quickly gets a little bit more strong. You certainly get aware of the difference of lifting the toes, pressing the heels towards the back of the mat. Last breath in. Whew, up onto the tippy toes. Bring the knees down to the floor. We'll spin the feet out to the side. Sit back. Allow ourselves to bring the block a little closer. And then sit up nice and tall into Dandasana. So we're going to flex the feet back. Still going to be contracting these thighs a little bit, but try to imagine that you can lengthen the muscles down towards your toes as your toes flex back. Try and lengthen the legs out a little bit. Hands to the side. Little opening of the chest. And we're going to build this into deer pose. So we're going to take the left foot underneath and out to the right hip. So you want the hips square to the front of the mat and that left knee pointing forwards. So you lean out to the left, you draw the foot back. And we're going to start here in this position. So both knees are on the ground. Try and get the sitting bones close to the floor. And we're going to hold this for about a minute. We're 3/4 through. And then we're going to move this into sort of the next phase, fallen deer. And it's going to mean that we're going to adjust the legs just a little bit underneath us to facilitate that. So at the moment, we're still trying to get this right hip to come down and the left hip to rise, to get spine as neutral position as we can. So movement comes from the base rather than from the shoulders. It's quite easy to sort of try and lean your head over and hope that works. But we're taking it from the other end. So we're going to take the hands, both of them, over towards the left side a little bit. And then as we do, we'll take the right foot back out. So the knee goes out to about right angles to the mat, and the shin follows the line. And then the left leg, the shin slowly comes forwards to see if we can get another 90 degrees. So we've now got two 90-degree angles. Walk the fingers out to the side of the mat and then around and come down onto the elbows, or lying down onto the chest completely. You could take the hands all the way up to the front of the mat. Just run the elbows, try and keep the head in line with the body. Think about nice broad shoulders. And flex both feet once you're in position. Notice the difference as soon as you flex. Our second side will be a little bit easier because we'll know where we're going. The first 10 seconds when your feet are flexed, it's fine. And then gradually the legs, which are now completely active, start to go. Are you sure you want to do this? We're going to use your hands to lift back up. And we'll slide the feet back in and the knees, and just lengthen the legs out into that Dandasana. And then we'll take it to the opposite side. So we'll take the right leg underneath, out to the hip. Square, knees pointing forwards, we'll lean off to the right. Left leg comes back, that shin through the arch of the foot, toes pointing backwards. Settling the sitting bones. Breathe. And we start to build into the second side. So we take the hands over to the right. Taking the left leg back, 90 degrees to the side of the body. Shin follows the line of the mat. Right shin comes forwards, another 90 degrees. Hands forwards a little bit, get some more space into the hips, and then ease your way around. Come onto the elbows or lower if you're able to, and then just sit here for a moment. And then we'll flex both feet as strong as you can. You're still aiming to get two sitting bones on the ground, but it is a big aim because they're generally quite a long way off by the time you get here. So flexing the feet and trying to bring the sitting bones down. There'll be a lot of activity deep into the hip joint muscles. Almost there, a couple more breaths. And we'll lift ourselves, lift up, bring the legs round again, out to the front of the mat. Take a little breath, shake out the legs, draw the right heel in quickly towards the groin, knee out to the side, a little bend in the front knee, fold over the thigh, take the hands down towards the toes, and then lean ourselves in. Then take a couple of breaths here, just drawing the chest down the thigh. And then we'll release, come back up. Swapping the legs over. Left heel comes in, a little bend in the knee. Lift, hold. And then release the left back up. And we'll shimmy towards the front of the mat with the bottom. With the hands behind. Block under the head. For the last couple of minutes of Shavasana. So taking the hands out to the side. Feet out to the side. Corner edges, let the toes hang out. Wiggle the hips away. Shoulders underneath. And just loosen the jaw as your eyes softly shut. And breathe. You begin to wriggle those toes, fingers, wrists and ankles. Breathe a little deeper. Use that to stretch out. And bring the knees in towards the body for a little hug. And we'll roll onto our right side. Hands to press down into the floor to lift up on the exhale. Swing ourselves round into a seated posture. Sitting up tall. Hands coming towards the heart. The breath deepens as we close the eyes. Chin drops as we begin to slowly exhale. Belly draws in. We bow down to the floor to seal the practice. Using the breath to come back up. Head lifts, eyes open. Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you for joining me.